Can't.
Well, I tell you what, we are live now here on the Backstage Pass. She's here with us too as well. Always great to welcome in great talent here on the show, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, and of course their friends at Honky Tonk Texas, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. Here it is, a Hump Day Wednesday, and hard to believe we're almost halfway through this month and halfway through the year. And like for the perfect summer song, if you guys have not listened to it yet, it's time to wake and bake here on the Backstage Pass, and to do that. She's with us, voice alum Sadie Bass here to the show. Sadie, what's going on?
Woo! What's up? You just said whiskey too, right? With Brandon?
What's that?
Bangtail Whiskey, you said? Is that
Bangtail Whiskey with
yeah,
Brandon Bing. Yes. Yeah.
I know him. Good for him, dude.
He's got some good taste, and it's good stuff out there too. It is.
Down smooth, man. I know because I drink whiskey before all my shit.
Hey, he knows you very well, and I tell you what, a lot of people do. From the voice, and ever since coming off, you guys have released a whole bunch of really cool singles out there and really doing music your way. I love it so much. Hey, talk about just your story growing up around music and before the opportunity came up on the voice, and kind of take people on this ride and this journey.
I started off, I was just normal. I went to Bath schools in Michigan. It's like outskirts of Lansing, small town. I was known for like sports and, got good grades, did my thing, but I always liked singing, but I didn't really like singing in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was always like, oh, you're good. She would always try to get me to sing around fires and in front of people, just like standing there singing. And I was just like, no. And I hated her for it because I also some moms tell their kids they're good and they're not. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think that was good. It was just a back burner thing. I had a couple close friends and family that heard me sing, in the shower, the car, whatever. And I ended up playing college softball for a year. It was just at LCC, and I was going to school, but I was a good student in high school, but I just was like not there. Like I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. And all the things I said I wanted to do in high school, like I think I was thinking physical therapy because I tore my ACL, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't for me. And the more free time I got, I noticed I was picking up the guitar more and writing songs. So I was doing that and really loving it. And then I think Instagram had come out with like 7-second videos that you could put up. And so
Mm-hmm.
one day, and this is while I was still playing, I'd put up songs, but I wouldn't show my face. It was just my guitar like down, so you could just see my hands, and I would sing. And they actually did surprisingly well. So I'm like, okay, cool, kept posting those. And then I finally put my face in one, and it was singing A Hurricane by Luke Combs. And it like did really well at the time. So I was like, oh crap, okay. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can be a songwriter or something and just, sing to get the recordings. So I kept posting stuff. I tried to do gigs. I ended up like doing a couple fundraising gigs for my school at the time, and like my whole town showed up, and I didn't think I was really great at the time, and I was super 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 nervous, but for some reason like we just packed places when I would go play, and I was just like, oh, this is support from my hometown. So I kept gigging, writing more songs, started playing the songs I'd written. Then people were like, wow, like, you can be a songwriter too. So I kept writing, was posting on my socials and also posting like my life, outdoorsy stuff. So I was hunting with my dad, or we were up at Bass Lake fishing. I got a following from that too, I think. So then we kind of felt like, I had Michigan under my belt because I could play a lot of venues and a lot of people would come, but then I wanted to move to Nashville or get down there and see, okay, if I wanted to do this as a career, how would I do it? So I quit college softball and then got a job, traveled back and forth for a while, made some friends, found out that my writing compared to theirs was like nothing. But I did hear it was a muscle and it could get better and you could just work at it. And everyone kept telling me I needed to move. So I moved down there, focused on my writing, wrote a lot of songs, and then I was waitressing at a breakfast place. So I was getting up at like 5, getting there at 6, out at 3, go home, nap or shower, and then I was playing around or going to a write. So I did that for a long, long time. My email started going crazy with like bookings, and I had to schedule writes and run my schedule. So I started to get a little like, ooh, I don't know if I can do all this. And that's when my cousin and manager, now I call her my cousin, Emma, came down to help me for like 2 months temporarily because she works remote. Well, we ended up doing so well in that 2 months that she ended up staying. So she stayed, the business is growing. And then I got an email one day while I was at work asking if I wanted to try out, for The Voice. They said had seen my page. I like my voice and my music. And I just remember looking at me like, oh, and I put it back in my apron, went back to work, did my thing, got out of work and had like 11 missed calls from Emma. And I called her back and literally freaking out. She's like, dude, you should try this. Like the hardest part is just getting on it. But if they reach out to you, we might as well send in the videos and see. And I was like, Emma, like, I am not, like, there's no way that they're going to, I'm not a powerhouse singer or anything like that. And she, well, you've been trying to get over your stage fright, and this is the place to kind of do it and to know if you're a songwriter or singer. So we submitted the videos after she literally had to like convince me to do this. And we got on the show and ended up making it on Turning Chairs. That was a huge deal for me. I literally like just was validated as a singer, but also it was absolutely terrifying. Like all the interviews leading up to it and just everything was a lot for me. But now that I've done that, like I have not thrown up before a show since, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was so now I'm like, okay, I can sing and I can write songs, and like some people really enjoy it. So I just tell myself that when I show up. And I announced house tour after I released like 2 more singles after The Voice because I got momentum, and house tour blew up. I went 16 dates straight starting in April, and I just booked a full on tour all over. So we've been to so many cities I've never gotten to go to, and full band now and acoustic, and I'm finally getting to see which one of my unreleased songs people like and not. So that is my whole story.
I love the journey. No, it's awesome. It's what I do here on the show, and talk about that because there's so much value in doing a competition like that. I'm a huge fan of what they've created there on NBC for years on The Voice. And you look at Idol and AGT and these great shows, giving artists a chance who may not otherwise have a chance to get their notoriety out there, build themselves as an artist. Talk about some skills and just that value that you learn and you take with you as an artist, because I always say the real work begins when you get off a show like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the whole process, I was out there for like 3 months, and we were in hotels and kind of in our hotel rooms because COVID was still like a thing. So we had to wear masks, get tested all the time, hang out with each other. And I was thankful to just get on the show. And so I didn't tell myself, I'm going to win this. This is it. Like, I'm going to let this happen. I thought, holy shit, I'm on here. I'm going to grind and get everything ready so that when I get off this, if, I have any sort of momentum, I want to keep it going, like make or break situation. I didn't want to go back to waitressing. So I have not had another job since The Voice. And I got to a point where I had like $16 in my bank account, but it's gone up since then. But yeah, I just have a lot of skills with like them telling me what about my voice that they liked. I didn't know. Like I was like, I can sing a lot of different ways, but vocal coaching helped. I'm sure if I made it on there longer, I would have gotten even more help. But even just like the little things that like with interviews and podcasts like this and stuff, I couldn't really do them before because I got so nervous that it wasn't really fun. So going on a show like that, I mean, there's really nothing. 7 million viewers, they fly parents out, they're staring at you and they look at, how you hold the microphone and everything. So you really do learn a lot.
Take me through songwriting, because you mentioned about improving there and always wanting to get kind of your sound and kind of what you want to be as an artist and, your vocals. What's the most important part, or what do you enjoy most about songwriting?
Oh man, songwriting is the thing that has kept me with it. It's just really nice. Like I think before I even wrote songs, I loved hearing, like I loved other songs. I loved Miranda Lambert, the way she told her story, and I loved relating to them. And so there was a lot of ideas that weren't in songs yet that I thought, man, I wish there's a song about this and this. So that's how I kind of got into it. And then just being able to sing it and like say meaningful words that people can relate to and getting it done, seeing aha moments in the crowd, like people looking at you like, ooh, like I like this one, or moving somebody, making somebody cry, or just playing a fun one and seeing people like they're looking around and they start nodding their head and they just get into it. like that makes it really, really worth it. And especially stories afterwards, the fans coming up saying this one reminds me of this, or I related to this one. Like you're putting out something that kind of connects people in a way. So it's really, really cool.
Let's talk about those succession of singles there before I take my first break here. Wear It Out, and then Made for It. 2020 Made for It, and then 2019 for Wear It Out too. Some really cool songs that really, like you said, put music out there, see how fans resonate to it, how they just kind of lock in and really kind of get your sound coming off a show like that too as well. Give me the backstories and kind of the stories of Wear It Out and Made for It, and kind of where and how they were written.
Wear It Out was just because I feel like my family, so we loved like hand-me-downs, garage sailing, like just I feel like I always had the oldest like trucks and I don't know, old coats, old flannels, like a hat that was old and worn out, but I always like would wear that one over the new ones. And I got to thinking like, man, like nothing's good till you wear it out. And I was thinking about how things have character when they have scratches or marks or stains or whatever it is, or just old. And I wanted to put that into a song. So that one actually came out pretty quickly. And after I wrote it, I was singing it around fires and stuff. And people were like, oh yeah, like they liked it. And it didn't end up being a hit song, but when I think where people look it up, they're like, oh, okay, like this does take me to a place or makes me think of something. So that one was fun. And I did a little music video for it. And then Made for It, I actually wrote the song twice. I have two different songs with the same title. I wanted it to be about like how I grew up and what made me me. And so I have another one called Race for this now. It's not going to make sense. But I wrote that song. And I wrote another version before I got to the one that I had liked with a group of people, and they wanted to go the lovey route because they said this could be better on the radio. So we still tried to make it me. And then when I went into my producer to produce the other one, he said that one was better. So I ended up putting that song out. And then it was just kind of a cute little flirty song about, you know, telling a guy, this is how I am, like take it or leave it. You like this, and you know what you see is what you get. And it also says, you know, you're not just gonna be like a one night stand or sleep around. So
no doubt. Well, like I said, just the start of it too as well. We got more singles to cover, including my latest anthem now for the summertime. As we get everybody's like, get back in shape. It's gonna wake and bake, and I love the fact that you can do that. As I still got the beach, man. I've been baking too, so that's why I relate to this song a lot because I've been.
Yeah, that's telling what the kids what it's about. I'm like, wake and bake. Yeah, it's about sunshine, waking and baking in the sun.
That's the best
no,
part
they
of
don't
it.
Know Mary Jane is.
They don't know what that is, man. When it comes down to it. We'll take a time out here more with Sadie Bass on the Backstage Pass, including diving more into the single. And you never know. She may have a guitar near. She might play a little for us. You never know what's surprising here on the Backstage Pass. A word from our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, our friend Brandon Bing. Great job out there, bangtail.com, easyliquor.com. Get the order in now. Make sure you guys drink. If you're out at Live Oak in Nashville, have fun. It's CMA Fest. Happy CMA Fest to everybody out there. Wish I was in Nashville for this week. So exciting out there too as well. And then, of course, big show coming up Friday here in Texas at Pedrati's Ranch in San Antonio. Scotty Alexander, Chuck Weimer will have more on that coming up. Ticketbud.com for your tickets there coming up Friday night. Doors open at 7 with our partners over at Full Circle Moments. Coming right back here more with Sadie Bass. We're going to wake and bake through a commercial here on the Backstage Pass. Hang tight. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And back here on the show again, Sadie Bass on the Backstage Pass here. Of course, tomorrow, Chuck Weimer and our friend Scotty Alexander as we get ready for a big show coming up this Friday night in Pedrati's out there where I got married out in San Antonio, Texas. Ticketbud.com for the tickets out there, Full Circle Moments, and of course, live auction and a lot of cool things out there too. If you haven't been to a show out there with Merlene, she always does a great job out there. We'll have Scotty and Chuck on the show coming up this week, and also Sammy Sadler coming by Friday. We'll talk about the Murder on Music Row. back in 1988, I believe it is. So some history there in country music there as one of the original Murder on Music Row. Sammy Sadler will join us here on the Backstage Pass coming up on Friday of this week too as well. Some great shows coming up over the next few weeks. You've got a busy schedule. June 17th, Copper Mountain Resort in Frisco, Colorado, Howell High School in Howell, Michigan, which I know you're a Michigan alum there. June 24th, June 28th, Eagle Eye Golf Club. That's going to take place in Bath Township, Michigan, and of course, a whole bunch of shows. Make sure you guys check out SadieBassMusic.com for more out there for these live shows. You were just in Texas. Well, tell me about that, just being back on stage and having that full slate of shows, staying busy again, performing in front of crowds, and knowing, like you said too, that people thrive for this, man. I mean, going to concerts, it's like the American tradition.
It has been really, really great. Like when I first announced my house tour, it was just me on the guitar. So I got a lot better acoustic and more comfortable. And it was cool because I could really control the shows. Like with these crowds of people, I could ask them, what do you want? Do you want a cover? Do you want original? Do you want happy, sad? Do you want one that I've never sang in front of anybody? And get their reactions. And it was fun, you know, and if they requested a song and I didn't know how to play it, we would just sing it at like the top of our lungs, and I'd call people up to do duets, picture, whatever. Somebody song, other singers in the crowd, I would play it for them. So that has been awesome. And like now getting into the full band stuff and getting to go to like Texas and these places I've never seen. It's just been nuts, dude. It's been crazy. It's been awesome. I'm learning a lot, and I'm getting so many ideas for songs going up.
Well, Texas will definitely give you a few ideas for songs down here when you pass through the Lone Star State here.
Cover in Texas too. It's so big. So I've only gotten a little bit of the coast over there, but
yeah, you were just in Corpus and Conroe, and of course, when you come back, we're definitely going to go out there, cover a show, and come see you play live. Let's go to a couple of more that I really enjoyed a lot. Don't Pick Up, which was a really cool vibe song there too as well, kind of fun tune, but also too one that was more kind of that outdoor enthusiast kind of fit you. I love the cover of that single, which was last year. Holy Ground. Let's start with Holy Ground, then we'll go to Don't Pick Up.
Holy Ground was, I feel like every songwriter and artist, I feel like has a song about their hometown. You know, that's what you know best. It's where you came from. It's where you got to go to kind of remind yourself, you know, who you are and where your roots are. So I had moved to Nashville, and I feel like I had hometown songs just written all in my notes because I was missing home. I was trying to figure out who am I? My lifestyle is different now. The things I used to do every day in the outdoors, I'm not doing. So it just made me really miss home. And I had a idea in my notes for a couple of years, and I wanted to write some sort of song about the outdoors or hunting, but I didn't want it to be cheesy. And I had like 20 feet off the ground, or 20 feet closer to heaven, or 20 feet closer to God, something like that. And I went into a write with my buddies, Drake, Freeman, and Paul Rock. And I told them these ideas and what I wanted to write. And Paul said, Holy Ground. And I said, oh, crap, that connects everything. I can talk about my hometown stomping grounds, 20 feet off the ground. Holy Ground as a whole, that's where I go, you know, and it just made sense. It was perfect. So wrote that song, and it ended up being super special for my hometown. Like they played before softball games and basketball. It was so special. I got to go back to my high school too, and they brought all the kids to the auditorium and play that song for them live. So when I played it out too, a lot of people are like, you know, I'm not from Michigan, and this is about my hometown, but it reminds me of it. And so that's been cool. And it's a good driving down the road, just listening, you know.
It is. No doubt too. And I love, again, that's your music when you drive down the highway and you hit 70, 75 and you're just going. You can just play the music, and it sounds great. Don't Pick Up. What was the story of that one?
Ooh, Don't Pick Up, one of my sad ones. That one about being, you know, in a relationship that was on and off, and you guys both knowing that you weren't good together, but not being strong enough to like end it. Like you needed both people on the same page because, you know, for me personally, I like love that person. It was really hard for me to let them go, especially if they kept, you know, calling or answering the phone or vice versa. So I needed to get that one out for healing, and I ended up playing it, I think, a couple bonfires here and there, and people said I really like this one. Like it's pretty vulnerable. So I ended up putting that out. It didn't actually, that song has gotten the least attention out of all my songs, but the fans who've been my fans for the longest always tell me they really, really like that one. So
yeah, I dig it too, no doubt.
Yes, for those who appreciate it.
Man, if you don't like music, hey, I have no hope out there. Everybody loves music, and especially what you're digging there too. We'll go all the way across the pond to one of my listeners over there too. He probably catches us on internet radio out there at hightidecountry.net and of course nightwaveradio.net. England. David tunes in, Cumbria, all the way in England. Which artist influenced your music, and which guitar do you use, and how important is the guitar to you and your music? Good question.
Ooh, good one. Okay, wait, what was this first question? Oh,
His influences, musical influences, correct.
this one's hard. So when I grew up just singing, I didn't really know, I guess, when I was younger, how like redneck we were. We just were. But I sang like Rihanna and Britney Spears, and I remember singing the Eagles. I remember, and I liked country rock a lot, and I liked, as I got older, middle school, it was like Jason Aldean, and I loved the hard drums, and so there was a good mix there. But then when it came to songwriting and easy chords to play, because I learned on like YouTube, like I'm not an amazing guitar player. Miranda Lambert songs were just easy. She said what she wanted to say. They were vulnerable. And so I was like, oh man, she really inspires me. So my writing, is a lot like hers. And then now, as I'm older and I've seen so many artists, I'm super inspired by Hardy. I know everyone likes, but I swear I was an OG fan. I just loved his writing. I loved how no one looked like him, dressed like him. He was his own thing. And he could do any genre. He can do country. He can do rock. He can do pop. He can do everything. And so that's kind of made me feel like, ooh, I want to put out some songs that are old Western style country with dobro. I want to do some fun pop ones like, how Morgan does with the beats. I want to do older sounding stuff with violin. Like there's just so many different kinds of songs. And I think with being from the Midwest too, there's a lot of Southern artists or, cowgirl boots sort of deal. And I'm not that. And so I really want to make my own lane in country music and be able to do both.
I love the fact that you're doing that too, and you're doing it with these songs. Let's talk about the single "Wake and Bake" too, because you mentioned that perfect summertime feel. That's what we're doing. It's sun on sun. I mean, this is just good stuff, and getting tan lines, drinking your favorite beverage, hopefully Bangtail whiskey, or if you're not a whiskey fan, whatever else beverage you like too. But where did the idea of this come from? Was it just kind of growing up around the hometown? Did you visit a lot of beaches? Where did the writing behind this one come from?
So, being in Michigan, it's Great Lakes Day. Everyone on the weekend, they're at a lake, Friends Lake. If you don't have your own little cabin, we always went to Bass Lake. And no, it's not our lake. It's just ironic, I guess. It's gotten small little fishing lake. I mean, it's 10 foot deep. It's seaweedy, but that's all I knew growing up. And we'd troll around in the pontoon and fish all day. We'd lay in the sun or whatever, bonfires on the lake. Like everything was lake based, eating snacks. And with it being called Wake and Bake and being about Mary Jane too, I didn't put that part together until like last year. I was in Key West with my cousin, and we were on vacation. We had been like working our butts off. I think it was like right after The Voice, before we were going to get into a new chapter. So we were trying to chill. So we were having gummies, special kinds for breakfast, lunch and dinner out on this beach in the water. And that's when I got kind of the idea. I was like, ooh, like there's all these drinking songs, but what about a song about good old Mary Jane? And then I think when I went back to Bass Lake and put it all together, I was like, oh, snap. I'm just going to put it all in one and try to be passive aggressive about it so that it's not super, I don't know, just like too much for maybe the people who haven't been like, very open-minded about it yet. Because when I was younger too, I didn't know. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. But it's really not. It's literally one hangover or the munchies. That's it. So wrote that song, played it out, I think, at Local Roots concert for the first time, which is funny because they are a cannabis company. And it was in the fall, and I played it, and people after the show are asking me, when is that coming out? That needs to come out this summer. I need to have that on the water when I'm on the boat. So I got things around, put out my first ever hat, and that raised $4,000 for me to put out the song. So everyone bought a hat, literally helped me pay for that, because all my music I was paying for with my waitress tip. So
and music is not cheap, as people know out there. It takes a pretty penny.
It's so hard. I just wrote it with me and the guitar, so I had to get in the studio, and I wanted to mix a lot of instrument stuff. It could have been a million different ways, but I just it's kind of unique and just fun. So far, growing faster than all my.
That and not surprising too. March 31st, and of course I must have jammed it. I kept it on repeat there yesterday. My daughter was just kind of like, "Yeah, Daddy, I said, Dad, maybe that's the summertime song if we go to the beach or the camper, or whatever we're doing out there too, just to enjoy it too, because I really the vibe there too." And I was actually telling a buddy of mine that you might know out there too, hanging out with him a couple of weeks ago. We were doing some concert promotions out there. Randall King has been blowing up out there too as well, and I was talking to him about you and this single for a summertime song too, because we're all wearing the ball caps and just chilling over Green Hall in New Braunfels last week. And I said, I'm sure he's, I know Sadie Bass. Okay. Let's see. Randall keeps up with a lot of music, Texas guy down here, West Texas. So he was digging it too. I think he'd heard it too. He'd heard it. So he loved it. So had to pass that along to you.
It was one of the ones where I was hoping just the Wake and Bake would just get stuck in people's heads. I was like, even hate it. Because when I first started singing, I was like, is this kind of annoying or no? And then I was in the kitchen doing dishes, singing it. I'm like, no, I'm doing it. I'm going to do this. So like, whether they love it or they hate it, they're going to be humming in the summer.
It's a sign of a good song is when it sticks, no doubt. Go back to last year with this one, Oh Son. I actually really thought this was a good feel. And of course, you mentioned how Wake and Bake's growing fast. This one has done pretty well for you too. What was the backstory of that one?
This one, so Don't Pick Up and Oh Son, I wrote by myself. That one was actually one of my oldest songs. This is like one of my first relationships. I thought I was going to marry the dang guy, but I actually had to break up. He didn't really support my music career, and I knew that that's what God wanted me to do. And so I had to break up with him. And I remember I went over there. He lived kind of far from me, so I had like stuff over there and was planning on staying the night. And in the moment, we knew that I wasn't going to see him again, but, we were cuddling and it was like almost like the first time all over again. And I was like, man, like, why does the sun have to come up tomorrow? Because right now in this moment, even though I know we're not good for each other, I'm not going to last, it does feel good to be held again. So I wrote that song just for healing for me, never really sang it out, and then played it for my good friend Jason Cross, who's a musician too. And he said that it was one of his favorites and he really, really loved it. And so I started playing that one out, and a lot of people said the same. So I decided to put it out right after The Voice because it was a fun one to sing too. And I just, had to show off my voice. So I thought it was kind of perfect timing to do it. And I had fun doing, the videos for it, trying to set the scene to kind of like take the listener there.
Yeah, I love it too, and I can't wait to see what's next. I mean, riding this one too, you mentioned how Wake and Bake is doing, and of course, mentioned some of the live shows out there, SadieBassMusic.com for more information out there for all releases, and of course, all the live shows. Go catch her and get your tickets now at the website there with the buttons, and of course, you can do a lot of cool things there, a lot of cool pictures, and check it out there as more music is on the horizon. We'll come back here, final segment of the show. We'll talk about rapid fire, do some fun questions there too as well. And definitely, if you guys have any last minute comments, can't wait till she gets back to Texas here, because we're going to go out there and do a full coverage here on the Backstage Pass, again, powered by the Sports Guys Podcast.com. Football season coming up around the corner. Looking forward to that and a whole lot more here. More with Sadie Bass. It is the Backstage Pass. Also, you can check us out at hightidecountry.net out there, a great internet radio station out of Oklahoma. Word from Bangtail Whiskey. Final segment with Sadie Bass here. It is the Backstage Pass. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show again, Sadie Bass on the Backstage Pass, of course, powered by our friends over at the Sports Guys Podcast.com, hightidecountry.net, and of course out there YouTube and wherever you guys can find podcasts. We're out there everywhere across for your listening pleasure too. Wake and Bake, the current single, and for all the shows and everything out there, SadieBassMusic.com here too. So let's do a little final segment too. I love doing this. Rapid fire, whatever comes to mind, just throw it out there. No right or wrong answers, and I promise no questions that are going to stump. We don't do that here on the show that do SAT style stuff. All right, first song to ever sing on stage. What was it for Sadie Bass?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I remember. It was White Liar by Miranda Lambert, and I really bad. It was at Buddy's Pub and Grill for a fundraiser for post prom, and I went to sing the first note, and I was like, "Hey, liar!" So nervous. It sounded so bad, and I don't think I ever sang that song again. I was too scarred. Everyone was like wanting to cheer me on, and they heard that when I saw him be like, "Oh, this might be really bad." So I made it through, but
the back of my mind, I kept saying Miranda Lambert. I did. What's that? Say it again.
Thanks for bringing that memory back up.
Well, in the back of my mind, I was thinking it had to be a Miranda Lambert song. I love that too. The stories. Favorite, you mentioned about going on tour. Now, this is where we're talking about trying to stay fit and do things that are good. But you mentioned that Bangtail whiskey. Other drinks, other food. What kind of fits the fancy for that? What do you like?
My favorite foods?
Yeah, foods.
Hot wings, buffalo sauce, Frank's, and everything. I will eat where deep fried and I can't want it. And drinks wise, I like whiskey. I like beer too, but man, if I drink it when I'm singing, I'll be burping, so I can't. And I'll get fat. I don't want to get fat. So it's like one beer with a nice dinner, and then yeah, those are pretty much my two faves. If I'm on the beach though, I do mess with like a Long Island.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that too. All right, favorite spot in Michigan. You mentioned the lakes and everything out there. I know it's beautiful, and I've not had a chance to visit up there. I want to go that far north. Chicago's farthest up. Well, I'll say Detroit farthest north, but I want to get up to the Great Lakes. Favorite spot in Michigan to either camp out, go to the beach, or jet ski up there. What's the spot should I go to?
Gosh, it's hard. I was gonna say Bass Lake, but that wouldn't be a good tourist. I would say Petoskey. I love Petoskey. It's got a little bit of the North feel and the Lower Mitten. The lakes are a little cold, but it's okay. You'll get cold, beaches, woods, everything in a cute little town.
I like it, man. Love it. People that know, we talked about this a little bit, outdoor enthusiasts. And of course, you do a lot of cool things out there. Let's build on that a little bit too, because I know I love doing it, hunting and fishing. I believe you're doing some stuff, the Outdoor Channel. Is that correct too as well? Kind of tell people about where they can catch this. And of course, I know you love the outdoors.
Yeah. My dad pretty much was stuck with me. He didn't have any other boys in the family. And I just kind of did, what he did, and I learned hunting really quick. We were only really into deer hunting mostly. He liked gun hunting. I liked bow. I got a compound because I like to be able to just sit there and hear the crunches come in and see squirrel or deer and shoot it versus peeking out all the windows in a blind. So I did that for a little bit. I got a call from the Outdoor Channel asking me to come do a show. It's called Hunting for Lover Likes. I did 4 and season 5. You can look it up on YouTube, I believe. Or it's on my Bass Holes page in the link in my bio. But yeah, it was a show to against 3 other girls. It was a competition to see if you actually could hunt or if you just post pictures of you hunting. And I was like, are you guys gonna fly out? You want me to shoot your deer and you're gonna feed me? And they're like, yeah. I'm in. I don't care if you think I can hunt. So I went down there, but I ended up winning then and seeing deer that I've never seen in Michigan. I mean, I'm freaking stoked to see anything over a 6. So got to shoot my first hogs down there, which was really cool. And yeah, I did that show. I did one with the Sportsman's Channel with Jeremiah. Gosh, I can't remember the name of that show. I think it was just Mountaintop Outdoors something in Missouri Hunt. And then I did a fishing show on Discovery Channel that just aired last week with Bass Watch Hunter, which was cool. And we were fishing on Bass Lake in Michigan. So I got to be home for that.
I love it, man. Just to tie in the outdoors. You mentioned softball earlier too. What position? Where did you were you a pitcher? Where did you play in softball?
No, I was first and third.
First and third. Okay. I like that too. And as far as the hitting, were you top hitter on the team, top 5, top 3 as far as your batting average? What would you do?
I was a pretty inconsistent. I think I got in my head because I think I was still stage fright then too. But I had time a couple games in a row. I was 4th hitter, and then there's a couple games in a row where I was last hitter. You know what I'm saying? So I was on back and forth. If I got in my head, and I was freaking done. So I hate to say it, but it's true.
It's true. Being from Michigan, what we're talking about here now, I will say this. They're expected to play well this year. The Detroit Lions, after going through so much infamy over the past years and years and years of not being good, this is one of the best franchises, at least I think so, in the NFL. The Tigers, of course, still trying to be respectable up there with our former manager, A.J. Hinch now too. Tigers, Lions, Red Wings, Pistons. What do you get into pro sports from Michigan? Any favorite teams?
Dude, I don't really love pro sports. I love Michigan State college football. That's really my thing.
All right.
Lions have sucked for so long. That's really been my thing, honestly. But for NFL sports, I am there for the food and the whole spread. I will be there. Honestly.
It's all good. I do want to get to Ford Field, and it's actually they're going to be a good product to watch on the field this year, at least in my interpretation. The Lions are going to be a lot better, and many people expected to win the NFC North Division too, because Aaron Rodgers is not there anymore. He's gone, so now it's a matter of rookie quarterback and then Jared Goff, and of course I love that Dan Campbell's the head coach. This is going to be a fun year I've got the Lions winning the North, so I'm going out on a limb there. Make the playoffs, and then of course try to win at least one playoff game and put an end to years of inconsistency, no doubt. Favorite shows you mentioned outdoor too as well, but outside of that, favorite shows to binge watch. What kind of series do you get into?
Dude, I'm weird. I like survival ones, Naked and Afraid, Survivor. I love like zombie stuff, Walking Dead, The 100, Manifest, weird stuff. And then this is embarrassing to say, but I definitely watch The Bachelor and Bachelorette with my friends. It's a waste of time. So, I think it's one of the shows I can watch and not care what happens. So it's like the best way to relax. I mean, you're just like chilling and you're like, what was that?
I love it too. Dean, my buddy Dean Armstrong, he tunes in, a Michigan guy too, one of the stations, and Petoskey, go Cowboys too as well. He said, I wish Wake and Bake went to radio. I've been dying to play it. He works the radio stations in Michigan there too. So Dean, appreciate you tuning in. He says the 100 was so good. Yeah, it was, no doubt about it too. So it's really cool. All right, I wanted you to describe for me, because I love it, man. I really enjoy the right arm. You got a really cool tattoo there too, and I've always wanted to get a tattoo on just my daughter, something always meaningful. People get them for that particular reason. Describe that tattoo for me and kind of why you got it.
It's an angel wing. This was the first tattoo I ever got. I knew that like the first tattoo I wanted on my body was something for God, and I had so many scriptures that I liked, and I was like, dude, what am I supposed to have, a whole freaking book on my leg or something? And I couldn't choose, and I'm like, this one scripture means so much, if that people are constantly reading that and ask me. So instead, I got the angel wing, and people ask, oh, what's the angel wing for? Did you lose somebody? And I'm like, no, and I get to tell them some of my favorite scriptures most of the time. And it's cool because I can say more than one depending on the situation or where we're at. And I got that. And then I actually have another one now. This one was last minute, 20 minutes before I played my first show on my tour, and I was in South Carolina, and this redneck, and they were awesome, told me that he could tattoo me, and he wanted to tattoo me. And I said, well, I got 20 minutes till I go on, honey, so good. And so I went in there, and Emma's like, you are not doing this, you're crazy. I'm like, this will be fun memory. So he did that. He put a buck on me. It's got kind of a lazy eye here, but I'm always gonna remember it. I might get some more on the road.
I love it. Artistic, no doubt. Loving that too as well. All right, toppings on pizza. What goes on a Sadie Bass pizza?
Pepperoni, bacon, banana peppers, and Frank's.
And Frank's. I would love to try that too. And is there a pizza spot in Michigan that you go back to that's like a must-have?
Ooh, Spagnolo's in Bath.
Spagnolo's. Oh man.
The crust, perfect sauce. The pizza sauce is what is it.
Watch out. They go to Michigan. We've already got some spots to hit. A lake to camp out on, and of course a pizza joint to go crash there too as well. And I tell you what, she's waking and baking the cross-country music and paving her way out there too. Make sure you guys go download the single and check her out at sadiebassmusic.com. Appreciate the audience tuning in. He says, write a song called The 20-Minute Tattoo. That's Dean for you right there too. Dean, appreciate it.
Ideas, keep giving them to me because I swear.
You're one of a kind, no doubt about it too. Love her personality, and man, the songs are really reflective of who she is as an artist. Sadie, we appreciate the time. Hey, as soon as the new music comes out and you're back in Texas, we got to definitely hang out, go grab a beer, enjoy it somewhere here in Conroe. Appreciate you making time for us here on the Backstage Pass, and hey, continued success going forward. Thank you so much. You got it. SadieBassMusic.com, and of course, Wake and Bake is the single across all the digital platforms. We'll see you guys tomorrow about 3:30 as we get ready for the big show coming up this week. Scotty Alexander, Chuck Weimer at Pedrati's, San Antonio, Texas, Friday night, presented by our friends at Full Circle Moments. We'll see you guys then. From all of us here at the Backstage Pass, take care.